Hi everybody. So today is chemo day 42, and today was pretty exciting. When we last left off, there was still swelling on my left side, and we were going to try and administer some steroids because I was going to have an MRI. Well, my surgeon came in this morning and told me that in fact we weren't going to do the MRI because he found out, or he realized that there are two different kinds. Well, he knew that there were two different kinds of implants that were used for expanders, one of which has an MRI friendly valve and the other one does not. And in going through his notes, he realized that the expander that he used in my case was not the magnetic friendly kind, so the MRI was off, but I'd taken the steroids, which wasn't a total loss because in the past, when I had the swelling issues on my right side, the steroids made it completely go away, which indicated that it may have been an allergic reaction to the Alloderm, which sounds bad, but it's actually pretty typical as part of the healing process when you have the expanders in. So he told me that, and he said that, he was thinking about my case overnight, and it was one solution which we'd been trying to avoid, but at this point, he didn't really feel comfortable doing anything other than this, and that was to bring me into the operating room and to operate today. So what we decided to do was to, as I was on standby on call, unfortunately it happened early today, was to bring me into the OR, cut me open by going through the main incision from the mastectomy, so it would be right there, go in, take out the implant, and see if there was any infection that wasn't getting picked up by the sonograms and by the CAT scans, because in fact it was hiding under the implant. Of course, you can see the implant to an extent, but just getting clarity issues, there could be something hiding in there because the expander is nothing but a pocket of air and liquid anyway. The catch is that you always run the risk of, when you cut somebody up, seeing that in fact the problem is that the body is rejecting the implant, or there is some other far more significant infection, and when you remove the implant and you discover that, you can't put it back. And if you can't put it back and you can't replace it, and depending on what the infection and scarring is like, of course you also run the risk of never being able to have that reconstruction done. So needless to say, this is why this was not what we were looking to do, and we were hoping that something medicinal would remedy the situation, but it wasn't. And he felt that it simply was not the responsible thing to not check. So I was hanging with my son this morning. They told me that I was going to be on standby. I couldn't eat anything or drink anything, of course. Yay! I worked on my painting, though, which is back here, so you can see it. I'm still not done with it, but, well, there it is. There, so I'm still working on it. You may recognize the cattle guard there in the middle. So I'm still working on that piece, but, I got some painting time done, something to kind of ease my mind off of what was happening. And Frank Gifford and a couple of retired NFL players are coming to visit the kids in the pediatric ward. So Zach got to meet Frank Gifford. He got something autographed by him that I think he's going to auction off for Live Strong. He's still kind of, I don't know what he's doing. He got me a pillow pet, though. So I got to know. Now I got 2 pillow pets. Yeah, I got a monkey and a ladybug. I guess he told them that his mom was going in for surgery today, and they decided to give me a pillow pet too, because I'm just a big kid. And sure enough, literally as soon as they said that the NFL players were coming up, that was when the pediatrics nurses got the call from my nurse station that I needed to come back immediately because I was going into the OR. So Zach got to meet the NFL players, and then he came down and was with me in pre-op, where he kept me cracking up. He's absolutely my kid. All of a sudden he looks at me, he's like, "Mom, you're gonna die in there. They're gonna cut you open and die." And I said, "Why do you say that?" He's like, "'Cause that's the only way I'm gonna beat you in Connect 4. I said, "Why do you say that?" And he's like, "'Cause you always said the only way I'd ever beat you in Connect 4 is over your cold dead body." I'm like, oh my god. And then he's asking the nurse if there was an observation deck so he could have watched the surgery. And at that point, as I think the nurses got freaked out by that, but I was cracking up. So I got to meet the anesthesiologist who was a riot. His name is Richie, and when I had Dr. Park, he asked me what I liked to listen to because he had an iPod and he would play music. So I told him the kind of music I liked, so that was playing there. So when we were going over things, I'd mentioned that I if they had to intubate me, that I sing, because you always want to give them the heads up so that, not that they're careless when they intubate you, but if you sing, they're especially careful when they go through the vocal cords. But he was explaining that for today's procedure is only going to be about 45 minutes to an hour. In fact, it took closer to 2 hours, but I've learned double the time, kind of like estimating time with contractors, you double the time that the doctor says. But just given the amount of time that I was going to be in there, it didn't make any sense to intubate me. But when I go in there, he's got Adele playing, and I'm drawing a blank on the song, but it's a song that's basically like, if it's the last thing you ever do, it's kiss me, if kiss me before I die, whatever. And I kind of looked at him and was like, probably not the most encouraging song to be playing to somebody who's about to go under, which was really funny. And it was rolling in the deep, and I was like, okay, there's no way you're going to be able to, combat my drive to sing along with this song. So, might as well not even try and anesthetize me until after the song is over. And sure enough, he did, and I was out very quickly. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, this is good stuff, and it was gone. And a couple of hours later, I was coming to in the recovery room to my friend Chris's sister, Kara, which was really funny to have her as my nurse. I seem to have like these strange medical crises and run into people from Fox Lane and random places. First, it was Jeff Anderson when I had the mystery abdominal issues at Vassar Brothers, and now it was Kara, Kara in the recovery room. So Kara snuck me some chocolate under my sheets. I got it right here. I still have to eat it. And the other recovery room nurse had lived in Israel, so we were chatting in Hebrew, and that was kind of fun. And then brought me back, and Zach came down to the recovery room, and apparently I made him laugh quite a bit, and then they had to bring him back. So I was back in the room and kind of up and about. I'd say by around 3 o'clock, I was kind of tottering around, trying to break free of everything. And I feel pretty good. I'd say the biggest issue is, unfortunately, what we think happened is that with the left side, I'd had the drain in, and both sides, I had 4 drains. I had 2 on each side, and these drains, and I can try and show you over here. You can see this kind of red loopy thing. This is a tube that attaches to my side here. Can't really. It's kind of hard to show you because I don't know if you can see that, but it goes from up here all the way down, and then I've got a surgical bra on, which is just oh so sexy. But basically attaches to these drains, and I'm going to try and free this because there's one here. So essentially it's a suction-y thing. Yeah, here we go. It's a suction thing, and it sucks all the fluid from the site through. So it's kind of a disgusting thing. They're very annoying. And when I had it on the left side, the one that had been on the left side had been giving me trouble. It stayed in weeks after all the others. And at one point I was, I had to remove my underwear to go potty. And I accidentally looped my thumb. I looped my thumb in the, I think it was the waistband of the underwear to pull my pants down. And what I was actually looping was the tube that hangs. And I pulled that, and this was back in late August, early September. And when I did that, I pulled really hard on the drain, and what I must have done is actually pulled some of the tube out of place. And I think what ended up happening was when, the procedure would be that Dr. Nordberg went in through the main incision to remove the implant, not to get rid of it, but just to remove the implant, see what was going on underneath, see if there was any of that infection or any liquid or any swelling that was going on beneath the implant that wasn't showing up in the scans, scrape it out, clean it out, and then replace the implant. And sure enough, there was a collection of something underneath the implant. So what he ended up doing, my understanding, and I have to clarify with him, I haven't seen him yet, really where I was fully lucid, is that the implant came out, he cleaned everything up, and I believe he put in a new implant. Sometimes he can sterilize the old implant and put it back in, but in the meantime he put a new expander in, my understanding. The catch is, though, that first where that drain had been was always sensitive and touchy, and it had been really bothering me. It was underneath my arm, and I think that's where kind of the light bulb went off that we had to check it. I just don't think it ever really finished healing from that original drain, which is nobody's fault. I mean, I have a high tolerance to pain, so I didn't really feel that pain. Now I'm feeling it on that side, so I think it's like, okay, we're exacerbating it because the new drain is where the old drain was, because that was the proper placement. So the left side is painful. But, you know, it can go horribly wrong, because sometimes you can't ever have the implants again, sometimes you can't have the reconstruction because of scarring and infection and tissue loss, etc. So knock on melanine. Um, Everything seems to be successful. I'm feeling good. I got to come back and I found a bouquet of flowers from my friend Judy from EFTA, which was really cool, with chocolate. And you know, I have to give a huge shout out to Richie and Dr. Nordberg, Kara, really the entire nursing staff at Stanford Hospital, and the transportation guys have been wonderful. The pediatric nurses, Billy, thank you for being able to arrange to have Zach leave the pediatric ward to come to be with me. Frank Gifford for being so cool and autographing something for my son. I thought that was neat. I mean, there are so many people that have done such good work here, especially over the past, God help me, 10 days? I've been here since November 1st. Dr. Tepler, all of the interns and associates, Dr. Adler Klein, they've all been just fantastic. Karen for the art therapy program, Fran Becker. I mean, everybody here has just been wonderful. So the good news is Zach got discharged, which means that I get some of his toys, like Hangman, which I bought him. Funny how I buy him things that I know he's not going to like, and then I get stuck with him. I wonder how that happens. Just like I got my friend's brownie the other day when he came for lunch. I ordered him a brownie, and he forgot to eat it, and I forgot to remind him that he didn't eat it, so he left it behind, so I had to eat it. You know, I'm definitely looking forward to getting out of here, hopefully tomorrow. That's the plan. And possibly even losing the drain tomorrow. Yay! Obviously, we don't want to repeat the issue, but yeah, I'd rather not go to my friend's daughter's bat mitzvah with the drain in, just because it's awkward. But, you know, if it has to be that way, it has to be that way. You know, looking forward to see Cosby tomorrow night, and that's where things are. So, yeah, I'm alive. I made it through surgery. I'm making it through recovery, and hopefully all is well. So, with that, I'm going to say goodnight and live strong.